Alright, so we back with another video. Now, time we recording this, the other video that I did the previous, or I guess this week after the games on Monday, was the offenses rank. Today we're going to be doing the defenses rank. We're going to be ranking them 1 to 32. Now, that video hadn't even gotten out by the time that this video is being made in terms of the Thursday night games, but we're going to do tomorrow for the, I guess, Black Friday game. Then we got Sunday. Then we got Monday. If I speak. But let's get into it. Today we're going to be doing the defenses, ranking them 1 to 32. We're going to be discussing it every single week. We're going to be doing these recaps of how the games go. But also we're going to be ranking either the team, the offense, or the defense. Now, I'm going to mix in some QBs, some coaches. But this is what we're doing today. We're doing the defenses. Y'all do want more? Like the video. Hope you like the video. Subscribe if you're new. Without further ado, let's hop into it. Alright, so hopping into it, we got the tiers 1 to 5. You see it, you see it, you see it. Now, it is very hard to do these early on because honestly, today we were supposed to have masterclass games every game. Personally, only game that was even really that good, in my opinion, was the Cowboys Chiefs. The Packers Lions was good, but I don't know. It wasn't crazy to me. I really expected these to be, at least one of these to be game of the year contender. It didn't really happen. So that I do think expectations can ruin stuff. But hey, that is a topic for another discussion. Let's get into this Lions-Packers game. Now, this game was a very interesting game because Sam Laporta was already out. Amon-Ra was out pretty much early in the game, and it kind of changed everything for the Lions. Now, if you've been paying attention, except for really last week, Dan Campbell been calling the offense for this team, and honestly, it's been a pretty big deal for them. So, with Dan Campbell calling the offense for this team, has been getting a lot going for Jameson Williams. I do think that he's been trolling in some situations in terms of going for fourth down too much, and I think he did that today again. I think they was down 10 points in clear field goal range. They went for it. They didn't get it. They get down in the area again. They go for the field goal. Like, bro, I'm gonna give you the bean, bro. Like the fourth quarter decision making, it has been losing them games for years. When it works, but when it doesn't, it is brutal. It is brutal. So, honestly, don't want to gauge it too much. J Love had a pretty solid game. This is one of his better games of the year. Packers fans be acting like he top 5. He was okay. I'm going to be honest. One thing that was really bad about today was kind of the quarterback play. The quarterback play was really shocking. Like, I'd be really tough on Drake Maye as a Patriots fan. But watching the guys today that was supposed to be very, very good, it was not the craziest, honestly. So, I gotta just stop being as harsh on Drake Maye. Like, we had multiple 4 TD games today, and I promise you, these are 2 of the worst 4 TD games you'll ever see. Usually a 4 TD game is like a genuine masterclass. I'm gonna be honest, J Love was good. It wasn't like no crazy all-time performance, not even close. So, and then Mahomes, we gonna get into him when we talk about him. So, I do think the 50-yard throw by J Love was nice. But, for the most part, J Love, he kind of got let down by some drops, but he also had some missed throws himself. All in all, the consistency of this Packers offense is so inconsistent. I don't really know how to gauge it. I don't know what's going to happen any possession. Possession to possession, you could get a 3 and out, you could get a field goal, you could get a touchdown. Now, you can say that about a lot of teams, but that is kind of important in how consistent your offense is at scoring points, to me. So, yeah, I think the Lions, they didn't do a terrible job, but they didn't do a good job either. I do think as this Packers unit offensively gets healthier on the outside, that could be a problem for some teams. But as of right now, I'm going to say defensively, I'm going to probably still say the Lions are top 10 defensively. The Eagles game was really good. They play the Cowboys next week. That's going to be a good gauge. I think the Cowboys is a good gauge for if your defense is real or not. Like, the Broncos passed the test. Who else? It was a couple. The Bears low-key passed the test early in the year, but that was a weird week. That was a very weird week. But also, Bears been missing their cornerbacks all season too. So we're gonna see what the Bears defense looking like tomorrow when they play the Eagles. I'm actually excited for that game. Hopefully, that game is actually good. But Lions, I'm gonna still give them top 10. I don't know where to put them. Then we got Packers. That's a clear top 10. Lions a little shaky. Offense is not as crazy this year as defense. Defense is crazy this year. I would say the Packers today looked like they was getting back to what the Packers we know offensively. So, honestly, if I had to gauge it, I don't know if they're top 5. They may be over the Chiefs after what I've seen today, but that is the Cowboys. And the Packers didn't have a good game against the Cowboys either. Honestly, I'm gonna say top 10. I'm gonna say top 10. What I'll say about Garrett Goff is he had as good of a game for like the situation that he had today. He started pretty much like 0 for 3, and then he hit like his next, I don't know how many throws. Then he had a little bit of a rocky, like, I guess, ending. But Jameson Williams looked really good today. I do think that is your. I mean, I've seen some people saying he may have found out that Jameson Williams is his best wide receiver, and I can see why people say that, but this isn't a pick and CD Lamb situation in my opinion, where Jameson is that close to Amara. I think he's just very good. Doesn't really get utilized enough. But I do think Amara is the number one in terms of how they want to. I do think Jameson Williams low-key kind of does fit how this team wants to play in terms of play action, throwing the ball over the top. Amara is more that underneath, intermediate, slant, crossing route guy. He's not really much else. So, for that purpose of like the way they want to play, they want to run the ball and then play action over the top, Jameson Williams fits perfectly on that. I won't lie. And then I like Tesla in the draft when he was coming out. So, being real, you know, but Gibbs didn't have a great game today. You got to give a lot of credit to the Packers defense. They did a pretty solid job on Gibbs for the most part. Like, he had a couple long runs, but for the most part, they got him. They had him honed in, him and Montgomery. So you got to give the Packers run defense credit for that. They couldn't really stop the pass. That's really been the big issue with the Packers defense all year. Those DBs, those cornerbacks on the outside, and that's really why they couldn't really stop the Cowboys, because they just don't have anything for those two guys. But I'm gonna say, actually, I don't even think. Did he play that game? I don't think he did. I think it was just Pickens. So, yeah, bro. Yeah. I'm going to say top 10. Then we have the Chiefs-Cowboys game. Now, let's talk about it. Now, this game, honestly, I won't lie. I do think the Cowboys play in better defense, but I do think a lot of flags went the Cowboys' way. Like, at the end of the first half, they pretty much was getting stops all because of flags. Now, were they actually flags? Yes. But the thing is with the Chiefs, they always hold. They were just actually calling it today. That was really shocking to see. They always hold. Now, I'm going to be honest. If you want to say, as a Chiefs fan, that you was getting cheated, I ain't going to lie. Dak was getting hit late a lot today, and they weren't calling it. They finally started calling it at the very end, but it happened a couple times, and they just were not calling it. So, yeah, I'm going to say the refs definitely, at the end of the first half, I wasn't used to the people getting called that many flags on it, and then defensively, they've been getting a couple flags here and there for a couple games now. So, yeah, but Mahomes, man, I'm going to keep it a bean. They told him to throw a pass over 10 yards. That brother couldn't do it. Now, I'm going to keep it a bean. That one play where he dodged like 2 sacks, then falling. I don't know why he fell down. I'll be honest. Bro, he had all day to throw that ball if he wanted to. Like, by the time he broke, the 2 guys that he broke the sack on, they were on the ground. And the dude he's throwing to is wide open. I'm not going to lie. So he made that throw low-key harder than it is. But to make that throw on the move like that, definitely a great throw. But I'm not going to lie. Bro was wide open, standing still. He didn't keep his stride, if we want to be particular about it. But the throw was crazy. Now, I'm seeing the performance he had today, and people say this is the greatest ever. I'm going to keep it a beam. This is what I'm saying. Like, I don't think people even care anymore. They just want to see the highlight plays. They want to see the flash. Because brother was not good in this game. He genuinely wasn't. Like, it was a lot of plays that Mahomes just was missing, guys. They did have a couple bad drops as well. The Kelsey drop was more so a flag either way, so it didn't matter. But the third down on that same drive, Rice had a pretty big drop. But it wasn't just the receivers today. Mahomes had a couple misses too. So, I don't know. This is a weird game because I do think the flash was coming out a little bit more frequently than what Chiefs are probably used to. But they've been kind of, I don't know. Defensively, they've been getting flags kind of all year, but they just couldn't do nothing with CD or Pickens. And Pickens is tough. And they kind of had a DB situation all year. They've been losing DBs for a couple now. Like, you had Snead, and you had Reed, and you had Matthew a couple years ago. So, they just been losing guys. It's just been stacking. And it's finally catching up to him. Now, Spags is still calling good plays. Now, you know what's really crazy? This one I knew Mahomes really got it. I seen Chiefs fans saying fire Andy Reid. That's when I knew. Now, another thing about the game today, brother. This man, the first half, the Chiefs couldn't really do nothing if it wasn't like a screen or a yak play. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't know what was going on. Now, if that's what you're saying, okay. But if you was watching the first half, the reason why is because Mahomes just couldn't hit a throw down the field. It's just what it was. So, I don't know. Mahomes is still Mahomes at the end of the day. So, you're going to give him that respect. But today, he just didn't have a good day against a defense that's just not good, which is really what makes it kind of more eye-opening, I would say. Now, on the other side, I would say Kelsey's actually been... You got to give credit to Kelsey. I feel like a lot of people doubted Kelsey coming into this year. He's been a lot better than I really expected. Worthy actually didn't have that bad of a game today. Rice is Rice. Like, I already knew as soon as he came back. But the real shocking thing for me right now with the Chiefs is, after that Ravens-Lions game, I'm like, this team is finna just not lose again. The stretch of games that they've had since then, they lost to the Bills. They beat the Colts. They low-key might have beat the best team that they played, but I think the Colts... I'm a Patriots fan. I'm not gonna lie. I think the Colts are genuinely just kind of wild right now because... I don't know, man. If I'm a Patriots fan, if I have to play Patrick Mahomes, you can even throw the Bengals in here. Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, or Josh Allen, or Daniel Jones. I'm gonna keep it a bean, bro. This is no disrespect to the Colts because their team is actually pretty good. But give me Daniel Jones, brother. Give me Daniel Jones. I promise, give me Daniel Jones. Honestly, I'm so good. I am genuinely so good. Honestly. But, yeah, I'm going to say Chiefs. I probably still say they're top 10. Because all in all, they still had a good game. And they low-key had a better defensive game than the Packers, even with all the flags that was being called. But the Packers did go to OT. So maybe that had a little bit to do with it. And the Cowboys had 31 for a little minute. So they could have low-key put more points up. They just kind of got a little bit conservative at the end. So, low-key, I'ma say that I think the Packers pass rush, they got Chris Jones. Chris Jones was really good in this game, too. Another thing about this game, that defense actually, the pressure, they was getting to that consistently. It didn't matter. And this is what I'm saying. Like, those guys that play good under pressure, and I'm not gonna lie, Dak is not usually, like, crazy under pressure. He was crazy under pressure today. He did have a pick, but for the most part, he wasn't missing. Another thing about a lot of these games that really, like, is the big plays that I'm really saying is inconsistent. Third downs and red zone. It was bad. Like, if you watch these games, third down and red zone for almost all these games. In the first game, I'm low-key kind of underrating. I'm underselling because I think I had so much high expectations for this whole day. I may be underrating that first game. But for the most part, third downs and red zone, it was just bad. But Dak was really good in third down, red zone overall. But he does have Pickens, CD. Goff really only had Jameson Williams, so I'll give him that. Jordan Love don't really have much at all in terms of outside. He got, I guess, Jacobs in the run game. Mahomes has Rice, I guess Kelsey and Worthy. And then you got Lamar with Henry. I'm going to get into that one. And then you got Chase with Burrow with no T. Higgins, by the way. So, I think that he probably had the best weapons out of everybody, but still got old lineman out. I think he been playing really good this year. You got to give Dak his credit, but defensively, I cannot put you guys too high because this is everything that's happened to this point. It's a power ranking, but y'all are going to move up. But I still remember how bad y'all were. I'm still putting y'all 27-32. I may have y'all higher than some people in 27-32 later on. Maybe you get raised up another tier. But no. Yeah, no. Then we got the last but not least game. This is the game I thought was finna be. This game was a miss. Okay. Then I'm like, okay, Chiefs, they kind of had something going on here. Maybe we go somewhere with this last game. This always like a crazy game. You know people finna put up points. First half, bro, I'm talking about Struggle Bucket University, brother. I cannot believe my eyes. Now, let's talk about it. The Bengals in the first half, they had so many opportunities. They just could not get it in the end zone. They just couldn't. They could have got it in the end zone. This game would have been over in the first half. On the flip side, I talked about this in the offense video. You check these games that the Ravens been going on a run. I be seeing Ravens fans talk. I be seeing them talk hot. I be seeing them talk crazy. Brother, y'all ain't, bro, if you even just look at Lamar, he ain't did nothing in any of these games. I'm not even gonna lie. And then the teams y'all playing is nobody. And I know I'm a Patriots fan, but brother, come on. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Like, the way y'all talking and then talking about people that don't play nobody is crazy. It is crazy. I cannot lie. But Lamar in this game, I seen some people saying he's injured, so he can't move. I'm gonna keep it a bean, brother. Lamar, my favorite player. The way y'all be kind of trying to gas, bro, as this thrower sometimes. Like, Lamar, my favorite player because he has that balance of throwing and running. But if he take away the running and he looks this bad, you cannot gas him for his throwing ability, brother. And it's not even like it's been 1 week. It's been a couple now. So, it's kind of rough. This was bad. Because the thing is, it was bad versus the Bengals. Like, I'm thinking before this game, okay, you know what I'm saying? He gonna get right against the Bengals. This the get right game. I thought for Burrow, they always hoop on against the Ravens. So that's a good game to come back to. It's gonna be a lot of pressure, but they never win this game anyway, ever in previous years. So, like, what do they have to lose? They're 3-8. So why not bring them back this week? I thought they should have brought him back against the Patriots. He probably come back against the Patriots. They probably beat us the way that game went. So, it didn't go any type of way that I expected, to be honest. First half, offense was rough. I think even Burrow had a couple misses. He was a little rusty. Lamar was. And I ain't gonna lie. The weird thing about Lamar in this game, it didn't get better. It got worse and worse and worse. I was shocked, genuinely shocked of the accuracy. And I do think the accuracy discussion is a real thing. Like, the consistent accuracy thing is a real thing. And like I said, watching the Patriots every week with Drake Maye, I'd be so harsh if I see him miss one throw. Brother, watching these guys miss every throw on third down in the red zone for a full half. Brother. Bro, if I see Drake Maye miss one throw on a drive, oh my goodness. I can't believe my eyes. I genuinely can't believe my eyes. I feel like I'm watching a whole different sport. I'm not even gonna cap. So, I'm gonna say, for the Ravens defense, I think they've been playing better defense. I even think they did really good defensively this game. The offense had 5 turnovers. They literally was in scoring position multiple times and didn't get nothing but a field goal multiple times. The Ravens defense has been playing better the past couple weeks. I cannot keep putting them 27-32. Like, they're not even allowing teams to score consistently on them. Like, they got the ball at the 2-yard line. They didn't get a yard. Now, I won't lie. That was a lot due to the Bengals play calling. That play calling on that drive was bad. But overall, the Bengals play calling was actually pretty good. I won't lie. I be kind of hating on that coach, but I got to call a spade a spade. Like, Lamar, one of my favorite players, I got to be harsh on him when he play bad. I be hating on Bengals coach. He had a good game today. Got to give him credit. It's just what it is. I got to be consistent. So, I do think the Ravens defense been playing better. The offense is the weird thing because that's your MVP. Now, I will say, I do think a bigger issue with the offense, and I've said this for time, sometimes it do be feeling like it caters too much to Lamar. It kind of be feeling like sometimes we be kind of forcing the issue towards Lamar. Derrick Henry at one point in this game only had 5 rushes, and it made no sense. Derrick Henry was unstoppable in this game, and he really wasn't touching the ball nearly enough. Keaton Mitchell was actually pretty good. And they had that one drive where they was running, and I think Lamar fumbled it. Was Lamar the one that fumbled that? Or did they no, they didn't get a touchdown on that drive. They had a drive where they pretty much ran the ball, did some read options with Lamar, ran the ball with Keaton Mitchell. Did Keaton Mitchell have a fumble? No. Lamar might have threw a pick on that drive. I don't remember what happened on that drive, but the drive that they pretty much just ran it all the way down the field, and then I don't think they scored on it. Maybe it was just 4th down and they just didn't get it, which did happen a couple times as well. They had 5 turnovers and they also failed a couple 4th downs. I don't know about a couple actually, but you know what I mean. So, honestly, man, you got to give Bengals credit because I'm going to be honest. This past week, I was kind of scared that the Patriots may be going the other way offensively. But I do think the Patriots offense is kind of a bigger issue in terms of the injury that they're getting on O-line. It's kind of reverting back to being last year's O-line. And if you know about last year's O-line, that was the worst O-line I might have ever seen in life. And if you look at this Bengals defense, their 2 edge rushers are out. And they were getting pressure on my quarterback. Now, it's going to be Ravens fans that says they were getting pressure on Lamar. They were not. Lamar was holding the ball all day. Like, literally all day. Now, you can say because people weren't getting open, people were open. And that's another thing I don't like about a lot of these quarterbacks nowadays. They don't be trying to throw them NFL open players. They want you to be wide open. And I'm going to keep it a bean. That does not work in the NFL. It works because you athletically it give your guys time. But come on. We got to be real about this. So, I'm gonna say honestly, I'm gonna still say they down here. I think the Cowboys have shown more consistent improvement, but the Bengals these last 2 weeks, you gotta give them their credit, man. These last 2 weeks, you have to give them their credit. So that's my take on the game so far today, or so far in the week. We got the Eagles and the Bears. That's gonna be that'll be an interesting one because no matter which way that goes, I'm losing. I'm losing no matter what. I ain't gonna lie. Eagles fans are crazy. Bears fans are crazy. I just, you know what I'm saying? It's just, they're just crazy. There's nothing I can do about it. Like, they're gonna be annoying. It's just what it is. So, we'll see. All right, and then we have the game. The Black Friday game. Now, I'm gonna keep it a beam. I gotta correct some of the stuff I was saying about some things I was talking about in these other games. I want to give credit to J Love. I had to rewatch a little bit of the game because it was Thanksgiving. I'm going to keep it a bean. I was paying attention to the game, but I wasn't having the full undivided attention I usually have when I'm able to watch these games. I want to give credit to J Love. J Love actually had a really good game. Probably his best game of the season. I don't think it's the best game he ever played. But if it's not the best game of the season, it's one of them. But he was actually throwing the ball down the field. He was being accurate, making big-time plays. It feel like if you remember well, y'all not going to remember because channel or whatever happened. But last year, I was making videos on stuff like this, and I was saying it was a complete, like, J-Love got hurt early in the year, but they were really aggressive. Towards the end of the year, especially once he was throwing picks, they got really conservative at the end of the year, and that kind of bled into the playoffs. This year is looking a little different. It's been very conservative all year, and it hasn't looked that crazy with J-Love to me this year. I think he's one of the more talented quarterbacks in the NFC. He just has not been consistent this year, and I think some of it may have to do with the conservative play calling. I won't lie. This game, they took the conservativeness away and took the leash off, and he was showcasing the talent. Now, there are a lot of inconsistencies with J-Love, but today or yesterday, he did not showcase that. Now, on the other side, I do think Jared Goff actually had a pretty good game as well. I want to make sure I give both of those guys their credit. J-Love may have actually had the best performance, better than Dak, but I think Dak's performance was I just think so much highly of J-Love than these other quarterbacks that played before the Ravens-Bengals game. I think that he can play better than that, but he actually played pretty good. I was kind of not giving him the praise he deserved. Dak, on the other hand, I don't think of him in that light, but this year, that 1 year in 2023, when Lamar got that MVP, he played to that level as well that season, but in the playoffs, I don't believe in it. But he's done it a couple times this year in big games, and for him to do that against the Chiefs, pretty big deal. And by the way, I'm seeing the Chiefs talking about they want to fire Andy Reid. Hilarious. I cannot lie. Hilarious. Now, let's get into the game that actually just happened. The Eagles and the Bears. Now, this game, honestly, it's not surprising to me that the Bears beat the Eagles, because this year, the Eagles have not been that great. Last year, they won off of having the best defense in the league. The defense is not as good as it was last year, but it is still very good. And then they had the best run game in the league. Now, this is what I'm saying when it came to the JT Saquon toss. I've said in a different video already this year. JT is nowhere near what Saquon was last year. Now, you can talk about the touchdowns, whatever. Saquon literally got so many touchdowns taken last year because we know what he's playing with. He's playing with the most unstoppable playing football from last year. Now, you could argue the 1-yard TDs with Matthew Stafford may be a little bit higher percentage, whatever you want to talk about. But the tush push, we know what the Eagles going to do when they got 1 yard or even less than 1 yard or more than 1 yard. So, pretty unstoppable. Saquon not going to be able to get as many touchdowns when stuff like that's going on. But if you was watching them games, if there was a close game, Saquon was ending it. If it was a close game, Saquon was making a play. Today, a couple of weeks now in a row where Saquon, I think in the Lions game, he wasn't playing stack box every game, every play. Against the Packers, he wasn't playing stack box. Well, no, Packers, he was playing stack box. I ain't gonna lie. But even on some of the opportunities he was getting on the outside when he was in space, he wasn't taking advantage of that. Then we seen today, he's not really playing. I think it's more stacked boxes than the Packers game, but second half, it was never a stacked box. Second half, first half, Hurts was awful, terrible. Bro, that first half, bro, there was people wide open, almost every single time, and he was taking dump offs. It was a time where he threw to Goddard, and I don't know who that was, in the middle of the field, literally right behind Goddard, wide open, and Goddard has Jalen Johnson on him. I don't know what's going on with Hurts in this game. Last year, now, by the way, the craziest thing about Hurts, people were saying he's top 5 because of 2 games last year, and I was saying there's no consistency. I get he won the Super Bowl. There's no consistency. The brother was not good at all this year. The brother literally was having people complain all season. Now, this year, he's been better than last year. I will give him that. But he's still not been nowhere near top 5. And you cannot tell me this is a top 5 quarterback performance. Today was awful. Second half, I'll give Hurts that second half. People were not nearly as open as often as they was in the first half because the defense finally stopped stacking the box. They realized in the second half, all we really got to do now is pretty much just eliminate the pass game completely. Maybe they can get a little bit more running time, but now we have the lead. If they want to run the ball and run clock, they can do it. And they still weren't even able to run the ball, which is really why I'm saying Saquon was really rough still. And even in the pass game, Saquon he just wasn't even on page with bro. Now, the weirdest thing about this Eagles team is that it genuinely feels like A.J. Brown gets more hate for having a standard of play, a standard of excellence, to trying to make sure that every part of the team is playing to the caliber they should be playing to. This offense has an elite O-line, supposedly a top 5 quarterback, an elite wide receiver duo, and it is terrible every game. How are we mad at somebody that's saying that this should be better? That does not make sense to me. That doesn't make sense to me, bro. It just doesn't, bro. I'm keeping it being. It don't make no sense. There's no consistency here. And then Hurts, on the other hand, he get hate. He does. I'm not even gonna lie. He does. Some of it is low-key because of the fans, though. The fans be saying this, that, and the third. Brother, there's no way you're watching Jalen Hurts in the situation. Bro, today, the brother was playing awful for the whole first half. Caleb was arguably just as bad in this game. I think Caleb just made more big-time plays when it mattered. Now, obviously, the difference in this game was the Bears' defense was better than the Eagles' defense. The Bears' run game was better than the Eagles' run game. This game was a game that really reminded me of how the Eagles was winning games last year. Great defense, great running game. Now, the Bears' play calling, I've been saying, play calling, scheme, design, you could argue it's been the best in the league this year. The execution has been awful. You've seen a very clear example of that in this game. The play calling, scheming on both sides of the ball was fantastic. And the execution is getting better. You can see it. You can genuinely see it. On defense, they had a great game plan for them. A great game plan. And it worked to perfection on both sides. The only issue was the pass game on the Bears was very inconsistent, and a lot part due to Caleb. Now, they said it was windy, and I'm going to be honest, early in the game, it didn't seem like wind was really affecting him at all, because the thing with Caleb, what you got to give him, the velocity he has. Now, anything outside of that, I don't know what the hell y'all looking at in terms of Caleb, because his velocity is crazy. Accuracy all over the place. In terms of reading the field, all over the place. It's just what it is. But it didn't matter in a game like this, and this is what I'm saying. Y'all got to understand that a lot of these quarterbacks that y'all gas have a crazy margin for error. Brother, there is no reason for this game to be 10-3. Now, I won't lie. They went for 4. They could have went for a field goal and probably been up more at half, but they had a lot more opportunities than that. Like, Jalen Hurts threw a crazy pick in this game. They literally instantly punted right back. Caleb threw a pretty bad pick on a screen. I think the Eagles scored off that. I believe that's what they got their other touchdown off of, and then they got a touchdown at the end, but that game was over. The game wasn't over, but the way that the Bears was playing on both sides of the ball, especially running the ball, the game was over. I'm sorry. The game was definitely over. So maybe if they would have got like the extra point to tie it, maybe if they would have got the 2-point conversion after missing the extra point, maybe it would have been a different game, because at that point, you know what I'm saying, it was an 8-point game. Then when you don't get the 2-point conversion, it's still a 2-possession game. So a lot of different things could have happened, but long story short, the defense did enough in this game to win the game. Caleb was bad in this game. He genuinely was. Bro, it was at one point I was trolling my Bears homie. Bro, I asked Caleb to complete a ball on third or in the red zone. He can't. He refused. Now, I won't lie. He did end up making the plays at the end of the game to kill the game off. which you got to give him credit for doing that. But brother, this is not a one possession game. This is a game that was played from the first all the way to the fourth, and the inconsistency thereof in the Bears was only really Caleb. That was literally the only inconsistency. You could say that guys were slipping, you could say whatever, but the balls either way was not accurate. They just weren't. Now, could they have caught the ball? 100%. There's a lot of inaccurate passes that can be caught, but you still can expect more out of a quarterback that was picked in the draft class that he was picked in. It's not really crazy. Now, Hurts, top 5 shouts, he just never was top 5. It just was never fair to do that to him. That's just never what he was. The team that he has around him was damn near perfect. It damn near still is. The play calling is just not as good as that last year, but it's still, I think low-key, it's a mixture of the bad play calling, but also the play calling trying to cater to Hurts. But I'm going to keep it a beam. You shouldn't be doing that. You should be catering to what your team has. Your team has an elite run O-line. Your team has Saquon Barkley and good guys on the outside. Now, Saquon is not playing to the same level, but let's let Saquon showcase that. You know what I'm saying? If Saquon is not going to be Saquon, let him showcase that. But these guys on the outside still deserve their opportunities. And the fact that A.J. Brown only gets the love that he's going to get in this game when they're losing, clear example of why he should be mad. It's a clear example of why he deservedly so is mad. Brother, you're losing, now you want to give me the ball? This is the only time I can really get my touches when we're losing and Davante Smith is out? Like, bro, the touchdown he gets is, you can't even blame the DB for that. Brother, you could have said it was PI. Brother, he just straight bullied, bro. Like, give him the ball. He don't need to really be open, obviously. Just give him a chance. Now, the other pick, I don't even think that was to A.J. Brown. I think that was to the dude on the sideline. But if it was to A.J. Brown, it was a bad throw. If it was to the dude on the sideline, it was a bad throw. If it was to A.J. Brown, it's a horrible decision. If it was to the dude on the sideline, that's not even that bad of a decision when you create that extra time in the pocket. Because there really wasn't much open on that play. I'll give Hurts that, but the decision, if he did throw it to A.J. Brown, was crazy. He's not open. You have the safety over the top as well. Like, that was a situation where it was clear to not throw it to him. Now, you do have two guys going to the similar areas, but I don't think that was the play call. The play call wasn't for people to be in the same area for that long. Like, at that point, Hurts had bought time for people to get open, and they just ended up going to the same spot. So, if that was to the sideline, though, by the way, that was about 10 yards off. And that's what the announcer said. I think it was supposed to be there, though. Because that didn't make no sense for him to throw it to A.J. Brown right there. But if it was to A.J. Brown, it's just a bad decision and a bad throw. So, you got a double whammy situation regardless. Yeah, man. Hurts is just, it's just not fair to say he's top 5 in anything. But if we gonna say he's top 5, we're gonna hold him to a top 5 standard. Now, I'm not gonna lie, though. Top 5 quarterbacks this year ain't been that good. It ain't been that good. But yeah, I'm going to say defensively, this is a defense tier list, by the way. They have to do the recap first, though. You know what I'm saying? Got to do the recap. I'm going to say Eagles, in my opinion, in this game were not bad. They were bad in the run game. I don't even think the Eagles really did much defensively in this game. It really was Caleb in the passing game. Like I said, execution was just, that's the only part of this Bears team that just didn't play their part. The passing game for the Bears just didn't play their part for the most part. So, I would say Eagles didn't really have much influence on that. Like, they weren't really getting consistent pressure on Caleb. Guys were open. You got to give Ben Johnson a lot of credit for a lot of this stuff, though. But, yeah, I don't think the Eagles had that good of a game. I would say the Eagles right now, I still like them. I like their linebacker core. I still like their interior. I like the Phillips pickup. He got injured at the end of this game. I like their corners. Safeties can be much more to be desired, I won't lie. But I still probably say, because of the fact that I do like Micah Parsons with the interior, but I don't really like the corners on the outside for the Packers. I would say the Eagles probably have a more balanced team defensively than these two teams and this team. But the Bears, they've been putting it together. Just banter with my homie. Now, when I'm on these, I'm trying to be unbiased. But I was doing banter with my homie. I'm like, bro, you saying the Patriots ain't beat nobody. At least we beat the Bills. We beat the Buccaneers. Who the hell have y'all beat? And the only real win they had going into this game, I guess you could say the Cowboys. Like, he was trying to sell me the Commanders, but the Commanders playing that game. I'm sorry. Like, they've been unhealthy all year. I was saying, y'all beat the Eagles. Now we gonna talk about y'all, because y'all got the talent. Y'all got the coaching. Y'all just got to get that win. They got the win today. So you got to give the Bears their credit. They fan base is crazy. You gotta give really both fan bases they credit, because both of these fan bases are genuinely crazy. They got it, bro. They genuinely got it. So I don't know if I can go too far on the Bears, but I do think the Bears are legitimately a top 15 defense. They might be over some of these, because the takeaways, they get takeaways. No matter who they playing, they getting takeaways. Like, it's just what it is. Is it consistent though, in my opinion, right now? Not really. But today they put it. This was a game where they haven't really been winning like this. They weren't really dominating games for the most part. Oh, I guess the Steelers too. I forgot about the Steelers. The Steelers, but I ain't gonna lie, that was Mason Rudolph. I ain't really, you know what I'm saying? Let's not gas it. You know what I'm saying? I think this was their biggest win by far. I don't think that's too much debatable. But honestly, looking at this NFC playoff run, this playoff's looking real interesting, because now the Eagles got 4. They lost to the Cowboys, so that's a split on the division. You don't got the tiebreaker on the Cowboys. The Cowboys have a tie. So if you lose another game, it's looking very sketch. Very, very sketch. I think the Eagles make the playoffs. I seen somebody saying they could go 9-8, brother. They are 8-3 going into this game, 8-4 if they lose. They're not losing 4 out of the next 5 games. If that happens, I already think it's looking like 2023 where it's going to come down. They're going to make the playoffs. Now, will they win a game in the playoffs? We'll see. But you got to think about it. Before this game, whether you want to talk about how it looked, they beat the Lions, they beat the Packers. They beat both of those teams. They lost to the Cowboys for sure, but it was up 21 in that game. So you could have said they could have won those last 3 games in big games. The Bears are arguably the worst team that they've played of those 4, and they ended up losing to the Bears. So, hey, man. I do think also when it comes to these Thursday games and Friday games, when it's that short week, I may gotta stop having the highest expectations, because sometimes these games just never really live up to what they're supposed to be. But you gotta give the Bears their credit for sure. Like, they had a short week, you know what I'm saying? They on a roll. People been down them. You heard the players saying what they gonna say now. What they can't say much. All you can really say is they get that execution. Like I said, they got the talent. This is a team that's been building a team on both sides of the ball really well. If they're able to stick defense and run the ball like this, regardless of what you got in the passing game, it can be as inconsistent as possible. You know you got a lot of talent at quarterback with Caleb. That was never the question. It's just how consistent will he be? So they got a very interesting situation, in my opinion, when you think about the Bears, because their defense has been playing really good the past couple weeks. We'll see. Now, that is pretty much all the games until Sunday. That Monday night game, I'm really kind of scared of as we get closer to it as a Patriots fan, because that is a very, we've had a couple trap games now. That is a trap game if I ever seen one in my life. But yeah, NFL is cooking right now. Every game we've had so far, for the most part, is good, close games. Was it entertaining watches? I would argue against it. I would argue against it, except for the first 2. I think the first 2 was actually pretty good, but the last 2, I would argue against it. So yeah, you can't say I'm biased either, because Saquon, one of my favorite players, Lamar, literally my favorite player. That's not a Patriot. So the harshest people I probably was on in this entire thing so far was Lamar and Saquon. So yeah, that's just what it is. We got more games to talk about. Y'all gonna see me when y'all see me. And yeah, I ain't have a game today. Who got a bye? Don't nobody got a bye. Everybody playing this week. Don't nobody got a bye. I don't think nobody got a bye this week. I think everybody got a game. Okay. Alright, so let's get into the Sunday early day games. I'm missing a little bit of the 3 o'clock games, but I'll be able to catch up with it. Let's get into it. Let's try to get these going fast. I've wasted a lot of time talking about the other two days. Let's get straight into it. Saints, Dolphins. Be real, man. Saints, they've been putting up fight every single week. They did the job that they should do. Show that they're competitive, but lose the game. This is a team that needs to get that top pick. The players, I get it. The coaches, I get it. But honestly, bro, for your future, it don't make sense to even win this game. Y'all not making the playoffs. Just go ahead, take that L. Offensively, though, I think the Saints have actually been pretty... Oh, this is a defensive tier list. Defensively, though, I think the Saints have actually been pretty consistent throughout the year. I would say that the Ravens, because of what they've done for a couple weeks now, I would put them above them. But the Saints have been pretty competitive overall. Then we have the Dolphins. The Dolphins have honestly... They've kind of turned their season around for the most part defensively. And I honestly don't know why. So, I'm just trying to enjoy it, if I'm being real. And, yeah, the Dolphins, they beat the Bills for us. I appreciate it. But defensively, I don't believe in it, but I would probably have to say they're above the Saints. But I do think that this game was a lot closer than it probably should have been if you're a Dolphins fan, honestly. Now, we got another pretty interesting game, the Jets and the Falcons. Now, Kirk Cousins was playing. There was no Drake London. Kirk Cousins honestly wasn't bad in this game. And honestly, I think the Jets got the first touchdown, and then the Falcons came right back and tied, and then the Falcons took the lead, and then the Jets came back and tied. I don't know why the Falcons didn't take more field goals. I think they did miss one, but I don't know why they didn't take more field goals. It felt like they had a couple situations where they could have got a field goal and they punted, but they ended up losing this game at the end to a last-second 56-yard field goal. This defense at the end of the game kind of did let this team down, because I think the offense with Kirk Cousins, if they get 24 points, they got to win that game. I'm going to keep it a bean. So, they're just fine. It's kind of like the opposite way of the Panthers where they, well, I guess it's kind of the same. Both of these teams can really beat anybody and lose to anybody at this point. I don't know what to really gauge, but if we talk about the full season, the Falcons have actually been a pretty solid defense. But today they didn't showcase that. Then we have the Jets. I don't know what to say about the Jets, man. The Jets defense, since they got rid of Quentin Williams and Sauce, I would say has actually been a little bit more consistent for whatever reason. I don't know why. Bijan went off on them today. Kirk had a solid day, but at the end of the game, if you watch that last drive by the Falcons, it wasn't Kirk's fault. Bro dropped the first one. Second one, Darnell Mooney, that was just a great play by the defender. So, I don't know. I think that running game may have got worse, but somehow the pass game got better, which makes no sense to me. Tyrod Taylor going in and stepping up for Justin Fields, that actually does look better for their offense. But yeah, all in all, I would probably have to say Jets. I would probably have to say back of 21-26 for me right now. Then we have the Browns, a clear-cut top 5 defense in the league. If their offense could give them anything. I was talking about it earlier, bro. They got like building blocks at every area of the field. D-line, they just picked the top 5 defensive tackle in terms of, they picked a defensive tackle at top 5. You got Myles Garrett. Don't need to speak on that. Who, if we were talking about most valuable player, if we're talking about the best player, actually, if we just talking about the best player in the league this year, you can't tell me it's not Myles Garrett this year, man. Myles Garrett has been ridiculous. Now, I even think the 5-sack game, he really didn't have that big of an impact, but the fact that he was that crazy, and then when he came off the field, they instantly got a long touchdown. Like, Myles Garrett, bro, he's having a crazy season. Then you think about at corner, they got Denzel Ward. At safety, they got Grant Delpit. They just picked I don't know how to say bro name, but yeah. At linebacker, they got a real building block at every spot on the field. It's just the offense, bro. The offense, they got to figure out pretty much everything. I think Judkins, they got that figured out, but O-line, it really depends on how you feel about Shador, I guess. I do think Shador has shown something to start the game. You can tell that this coach don't trust Shador. But I'm going to be honest, Shador does take some pretty bad sacks, and he kind of showcased that as well when he did get his chances. But you can tell that he don't trust him. It was that one, their best driver today, wasn't even the drive when they got the touchdown. Actually, I think that was the drive they got that touchdown, when they was running, and then I think Shador got that 34-yard touchdown to Fannin. But whatever drive that was, when they was running, it was like they got 7 yards and 8 yards and 9 yards. They was getting pretty much 7 yards or more every single rush. And I think that is when they topped it off with that touchdown over the top. So it is kind of odd looking at this Browns offense, because I don't think they have great weapons on the outside. I like Fannin. I like Judkins. I don't really like their O-line this year, which is kind of interesting. But for the most part, I would say that the Browns defense, you can't really argue it. And then when it comes to the 49ers, I think that this team has dealt with injuries all year. They've got the job done. I'm a Patriots fan. If I was picking coach of the year, it has to go to somebody on the 49ers. Whether you want to talk about Saleh, whether you want to talk about Shanahan. Shanahan, I think, was looking kind of crazy last year. He was not good. Scheme, play calling, design, he wasn't good last year. He was looking cooked. This year, he has looked fantastic. No matter who's out there at quarterback, who was out there at wide receiver, who's out there at tight end, he has found ways to make it work. You got to give Shanahan a lot of credit for that. And then defensively, I think it's been an even better job with Saleh with all the injuries that they have. Because, yeah, when you come to offense, you can scheme stuff to make it easy for your guys. But defensively, you still got to go out there and find ways to get pressure on the quarterback, find ways to stop the run. And they've done that. So, you got to give the 49ers the credit. They don't get a lot of sacks, but they just find ways to just get people off the field. So, I would say 49ers, honestly, defensively, I don't know if I can say they're over the Bears right now because the Bears do have the talent, but coaching-wise, I also think the Bears have been pretty good, but coaching-wise, 49ers, they could chat to anybody. Then we have the Titans-Jaguars game. The Titans are clearly tanking, but I don't think the Titans are that bad of a defense. I don't think they've been that bad of a defense pretty much all year. I would put them here. I'm probably going to have to lower some of these guys eventually, but I'm going to put the Titans here. I think this is another one of those situations where it's not quite the Browns, but the offense for the Titans is so bad, it's kind of hard to gauge how good the defense is. But I do think the defense is much better than what it kind of showcases, if I'm honest. So, yeah. Then we have the Jaguars on the flip side. I don't think Trevor Lawrence had a great game today, but he had one of his better games of the past couple weeks. Early in the year, he wasn't that great, but he was definitely playing better than what it's playing the past couple weeks. I think this is probably his best game of the past couple weeks. BTJ returned. ETN didn't have that crazy. BTJ and ETN didn't really do much, and they still was able to kind of easily win this game. It is the Titans at the end of the day, but I do think the Jaguars have been pretty good defensively for the most part all season, and I think it's kind of been underrated. I would say 11-15. When you think about the games when they played against the Chiefs, when you think about the games they played against the 49ers, a lot of those wins came down to the defense. Like, legitimately came down to the defense. So you got to give the Jaguars a lot of credit. And then we got the Cardinals. The Cardinals defense was kind of getting away from them for a couple weeks there. They kind of honed it in a little bit this week. They actually had a pretty much of a defensive game. If Brissett played a little bit better in the first half, they probably could have won this game. Second half, Brissett kind of got it back going. And it kind of became a fake close game. But this game, for the most part, Buccaneers had most of the control all game. I would say the Cardinals. I think that the Ravens been going the other way, so I would put the Cardinals behind the Ravens. Then the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are a tough rank. I probably would put the Buccaneers here, personally, defensively. I think they haven't been that crazy, in my opinion. I think the pass rush is not that great. I think the cornerbacks on the outside is not that great, but their run defense is pretty good. That's about all I can say. Now, how many we need in this? 6. So we got to lower them. All right, then we have the Rams. Now, this was a big game. Now, again, I mention this every week. The Panthers are a team you can't really predict their schedule. So I had to do a video predicting every single team's win-losses. I said in that video, Panthers is unpredictable. Bryce Young is genuinely... I seen somebody say that Jordan Love is the most unpredictable quarterback. Bro, Bryce Young, I know a lot of people was going to talk about that Falcons game, but Bryce Young today may have had his best game of the season. Bryce Young today was fantastic. When it came to being under pressure, he was able to avoid the sack. When it came to be able to make throws, big-time throws, when he had to make them, he was able to make those throws. Third down, red zone, when they needed to get points, continue drives, take advantage of turnovers. Rangers did a solid job today. And I think, honestly, the way that you beat this Rams team, they kind of showcasing it. If you can run the ball on them, win third downs, you can beat them. Because I'm going to be honest, Stafford MVP, but a lot of it's kind of gimmick. It's kind of gimmicky. I won't lie. They get a lot of their touchdowns come within them 5 yards. That offense got a lot of talent over there, but it hasn't really played to the caliber all year that it probably should be. If you think about the fact they got Davante Adams, Puka Nacua, Kyron Williams, a good O-line, and Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford, stat line was looking good, but if you was watching these Rams games, it's like, to be real, if you watching these games, a lot of games, outside really that last 49ers game, they don't really play consistent football, and they kind of showed that today. I do think if Matthew Stafford didn't have the 3 turnovers, they probably easily win this game. But the fact that they probably should have still won the game with all the turnovers he had, it's kind of showcasing how good this Rams team actually is in reality. I do think the defense is pretty flawed, but the front 4 is very, very good on defense. But I do think against a team like the Panthers that actually have a solid O-line, it was going to be interesting. And I think when they did get back there, Bryce was just good. He was just legitimately good. So I would say Rams, personally, for me, I think that the 49ers have been more consistent than the Rams defensively, personally. I think that they've been more consistent personally. Like, you can say that Seahawks game, low-key that Seahawks game, I would say the 49ers been more consistent, though. I may be sleeping on the 49ers. I think the 49ers may be over the Bears. I think the Bears probably behind the Rams. But yeah. All right. Next, we got the Panthers. Now, Panthers, I think this is the side of the ball that's been consistent all year is the defense. I think you watch that 49ers game, they had a much better chance of winning that game than what they had in this game, in my opinion. I think that Bryce Young was just bad. If Bryce Young played the way he played today, last week, we talking about the Panthers a whole lot differently right now, because they 7-6 after this win, I believe. If they won last week, they would have been like 8-5. We're looking at that a lot differently, in my opinion. So 8-5, right? Because if the Patriots win, it's 11-2. 8-5, 11-2. Yeah. I just didn't have a bye, but they were either 6-6 or 6-5. So they're 7-5 or 7-6. I don't know the exact, but I do think that they've been very inconsistent offensively, but defensively, they've got the job done for the most part all season. When they played the Cowboys, that was another big-time offense that they played, and they really did a good job on them. Now, they had a couple games that they let get away from them. The Bills game, the Patriots game. I think that those are just caliber of quarterbacks that, like, they don't have the talent to stop that. Like, I think Jace Horn, Derek Brown are nice, but they're this team had Adam Thielen. They never really got Adam Thielen because he was very good for them last year, and they had a real edge rusher. This team would be looked at a lot differently. That would be a way different team. But I think that they've been playing above what they kind of are, and you kind of can see that in games like this today, is what I would say. I would say the Panthers are 16-20. I might even say over the Falcons, because the Falcons kind of been slumping a little bit. Maybe even could say over the Jaguars, but I'm going to keep it there. Then we have the Colts. I think the Colts have actually been a legitimately good defense all year. It's just not been as good as the deep offense. If the offense is going the other way, the way it is looking, which is pretty much just regressing to the norm, they was having literally the best offense ever on a per drive point basis. So that wasn't anything like anybody that's comparable to regular season success offensively to the 2007 Patriots. You're doing something crazy. Like, you're doing something crazy. That was never something that was going to be able to last, especially with Daniel Jones at quarterback, no matter how you feel about him. He is injured as well, so that is another factor. But JT has not been getting going regardless of the injury the past couple weeks. And that's going to be the game plan for teams. They're going to try to stop JT. It's just what it is. But defensively, I would probably say they're here. I think the 49ers is a sneaky slept-on defense. Low-key could argue that the 49ers are low-key more consistent than the Lions as well, defensively. They got the injuries. That's about it, though. Texans is tough, because I want to put them one. I'm gonna put them at the top for now. I think that they've put together a good way of winning off the simple fact of the defense is so talented front to back. The only issues I probably have with the defense is probably linebacker, but the defensive backs to the front four, oh my goodness. I don't like the gimmicky blitzing for no reason, because they can get pressure every play with just 4. I don't like that, but all things considered, this defense is looking like an all-timer, brother. It is looking like an all-timer. I think the Browns probably got an all-time defense as well. It's just that offense don't give them nothing. The Texans offense been going the other way. I do think Stroud looked a little bit rougher. If you remember the last time we seen Stroud was going the other way. I think Stroud got to probably get his feet back under him. He was out a couple weeks. Apparently, that was just a concussion, too. So that's kind of something that you don't really want to see in your quarterback. A quarterback being out with a concussion. You don't want him to have anything mentally wrong with him, to be real. But, yeah, I think that's what we're going to do for now. And then we're going to look at these 3 o'clock games. Let's get into more of these games, man. All right, man, these 3 o'clock games. Now, I'm going to be real. Before we even get into it, tell me I'm lying about this quarterback stuff, bro. Tell me I'm lying, bro. It's bad. It's bad. Okay, Steelers, Bills. This was a defensive game. Steelers offense kind of let the defense down again. To be honest, they couldn't stop James Cook regardless. So, it's kind of tough to really gauge it. I would say the Steelers are probably 11-15 for me, probably above the Jaguars, neck and neck with the Bears. I do think that game they had against the Colts probably better than anything the Bears did. Like, the best game the Bears probably have is that Eagles game. The Eagles offense has not been as good as the Colts. I probably would say the Steelers above the Bears off that one. They have another couple of games. At the beginning of the year, they pretty much had that entire record based off their offense, or the defense. Offense has not been that great all year. So I give them the edge off that one. Maye could even move them up a little bit more, to be honest, thinking about it. But I'm going to keep it there. Bills defensively, they've been pretty underrated, but honestly, they're just inconsistent. The defense is inconsistent. This is a team that I do believe you can move the ball on. This is a team that you can take advantage of. Offensively, this is a team that you can stop. There's nothing about this team screams best team in the league. Nothing on either side. Like, they got Josh Allen, James Cook, and they got a good coach to coach their defense. Nothing about this team really screams unstoppable. But I will say their top 15 defense is probably. I probably would put them up behind the Bears right now. The way they're turning the ball, making people turn the ball over right now is pretty big. Jaguars kind of getting back to that a little bit today. Really the last 2 weeks, but I'm going to probably get low-key, the Jaguars might have been better than the Bills so far this year defensively. They might have been better than the Bills so far defensively. I don't think that's that crazy, to be real. But the Jaguars, they were very, very... I already talked about the Jaguars. The Bills, they were very, very good in this game, Steelers-wise. They didn't really have to do too much, I would say. But for what they had to do, they got the job done. You got to give them credit for that. Then we got the Vikings and the Seahawks. This is one of the worst games I've watched in my life. Actually, like, I cannot get it back. Like, the time I spent watching this, I cannot get it back. By the way, hey, the quarterback started out, I was like, hey, people dropping passes. This could get a little, he could sneak up on them the way Sam Darnold was playing in this game. This brother had, I mean, not even a play later. He's finna get sacked and just gives the defense a pick. And it's literally the freest pick six I have seen in life. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it being. Justin Jefferson, people gonna say quarterback issue. Hey, he had some drops in this game. It's another game where it's kind of stacking up where Justin Jefferson didn't play that good, but the quarterback was bad. I think Jordan Addison also had some drops too in this game. The wide receivers ain't really do him no favors, but he also didn't do himself any favors a lot of this game. This situation is not looking great. It's not looking great right now. So, very tough. The defense actually had they've been pretty good the last couple games. I would put them right there with the Bills. I'll probably put them above the Falcons and Panthers because of Brian Flores. Brian Flores had a really rocky start to the season. But really since that Lions game, they've been kind of getting it going defensively. But today, it was okay. They need more talent on the back end. They've needed that for years. I don't really understand why they keep picking up, like, front guys. They got that figured out. They need back end guys. Like, Cam Bynum left, they went and got D tackles. Like, bro, you need to get the back end figured out. Like, I don't really understand what they got going over there. And then the team that they played, the Seahawks, debatably the best defense in the league. Are they the best defense in the league? Is the question. Very, very interesting question, I would say. That's a tough one. Very, very interesting question. I would probably say it's them or the Texans. They up there, man. They are up there. This defense is crazy, bro. Back end, front end, linebacker core. They got pretty much everything. I don't think they got it. I don't think they front end is the same. Their trenches is not the same level as the Texans. Their back end has a lot of depth. I don't know if it's as good as the Texans either. I do think their cornerback room is better than the Texans, though. I think Stingley is good. He's a little overrated. But outside Stingley, it is a little, shaky. But safety-wise, they're really good. Like, they got a good trio of safeties, in my opinion. The Seahawks have safeties, but they're like, I would probably say, low-key, the Seahawks may have better DBs. They might have a better overall DB room. But the Seahawks, their coaching is the difference. Like, I like the Texans coach. I love McDonald. I've loved him since he was with the Ravens that year, bro. I even gave him a nickname Big Belichick, bro. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. So I really believe in this Seahawks team a lot due to the defense. I don't believe in the Texans. I believe in the Texans really solely because of the defense, but I don't believe in the Texans as much in the AFC as much as I do in the NFC about the Seahawks. But I was talking about it the other day. The way it's stacking up, if Mahomes keep looking like this, Josh Allen got the win today. He didn't have a crazy game again today. Burrow came back. He looked pretty good in his first game back. Lamar ain't look good at all. It's not looking like you think about the quarterbacks that's really in the playoffs right now in the AFC. Drake Maye is young. You got Daniel Jones. You got Trevor Lawrence, who didn't look good again today. I'm gonna keep it a bean, bro. Like, hey, that conference for the taking, bro. The Texans could do something, bro. They could do something. I'm gonna say the Seahawks. They up here. It's just about, are they over the Texans? You got to talk about the Browns. They got a crazy margin of error. You could argue they're number one. I probably say the Texans because they've had a bigger margin for error than the Seahawks. Because before this game, JSN was crazy every game. I ain't gonna lie. Sam Darnold may have just trolled JSN chance at breaking the record. Unfortunately for JSN. But they had a good game plan for JSN today. So, but it was sometimes he was open. He just didn't get looked at, which is kind of understanding when most of the game he was getting doubled and even triple teamed sometimes. So, yeah. And then we have the Raiders and Chargers. Raiders lost, so we're gonna break them first. Was there just no bye weeks this week? That's crazy. Shout out to the NFL though, you know what I'm saying? First week of the playoffs, you feel me? So I feel it. Fantasy football playoffs. But Raiders defensively, I think they're not bad. They're just not good. I would say the Raiders are perfectly right here. They're stamped right here. They're stamped right there. So probably got to lower a team. I don't think this is a raise a team up situation because I'm looking at some of these teams. Some of these teams got to go up. Some of these teams got to go down, low key. Because the Chargers are a solid defense. They've been a good defense all year. Definitely over the Vikings. I think they've been more consistent in every team up to the Jaguars. It's about how consistent they've been in terms of the teams above them. I think they've been more consistent than the Bears. The Bears may have a higher peak. I would probably take them over the Steelers. I'm overrating the Rams defense a little bit. I think I might be overrating the Rams defense a tad. I think I am overrating there a tad. Outside that front four, I think that defense can be had. Sauce did have a pretty big injury today. They said it's not Achilles though. But I do think that trade, even if he's not injured long term, that was just a bad trade. You don't give up 2 first-round picks for a cornerback of that caliber, especially if he's been regressing every year for like the last 2 to 3 years. I don't really get it personally, but that's just a personal thing. And that's not hate. I'm just saying 2 firsts, maybe a first and a second. You gave up 2 firsts, and AD Mitchell had a good game today. A lot of talent over there in AD Mitchell. So very interesting situations. And you don't really have like a real star wide receiver. You kind of seeing that with Daniel Jones' injury, in my opinion. I think Alec Pierce looked really good, though. He's looked really good this year. I won't lie, and last year, but it's glimpses and flashes. They don't treat him like a number one. I'm gonna say the Chargers. I'm gonna put them in between the Steelers and the Bears. I think Bears and Chargers is real debate. I think that's a real debate. I'm gonna low-key lower them. Because it's definitely I don't think I'm lowering them. I think it's definitely 2 teams, but I think I just raised them and then go. Because I don't think it's going to be another team I put top 5. It's going to be one team I put top 5. Ooh. Okay. Low-key, I got to order. All right. Now I'm seeing the order. Now we still got games to go. We got a game tonight, Broncos and Commanders. And we got a game tomorrow. That's what I'm scared of. I can't lie as a Patriots fan. The way teams trolling this week, I can just see my team trolling that game, especially when you think about that D-line versus our O-line with the injuries we got. So, I'm going to say Jaguars probably just go down 16-20. Are the Jaguars worse than the Rams defense this year? I don't know if that's true. I think I may just be capping on the Rams defense this year. I think I might just be, bro. Like, they got a good front, but outside that, I think they can be had. I like Kitchens, though. I do like Kitchens. I actually like their safeties, Curl too. Their corners, I don't trust them. I think you can also run on them. They gonna get some penetration in the run game. If you can bypass the penetration in the run game, If you can get the ball off in time when it comes to passing the ball, because they're going to get pressure as well, I think you can you can hide them. I think they can be had defensively. But I still think that is a very good defense. Don't kid yourself. I just think the league right now is defensively slanted. Like, it's not defensively slanted. It's, like, I don't think that makes sense. The league is offensively slanted, but for whatever reason, defenses the last 2 years have been better than offenses. And last year, the crazy thing about it is this year, the quarterback position is bad. This is almost an all-time low. It is bad right now. It is really, really bad. If you're watching these games, don't look at the stats. You look at the stats, I'm not gonna lie, they don't look bad. But if you're watching these games, it's bad. Last year, we had a real good quarterback season overall. Like, especially at the top. Like, Lamar's playing fantastic. Josh Allen's playing fantastic. You had Jared Goff hooping. You had Joe Burrow hooping. You had a lot of great performance at the quarterback position. This year, if you watching week in, week out, it hasn't been great. It hasn't been nothing consistent about it. So we'll see what these two games looking like. I think that Monday night game it could be that could be a PTSD situation. I'm gonna keep it a bean. But yeah, that's gonna be what we do for now. All right, man. The Sunday night game. I can't lie. I'm gonna be real, bro. This may be the year of backup quarterback, man. Mac Jones coming in, having that game against the Rams. I didn't think we was gonna have a game that could top that. Marcus Mariota. Hey, that was a performance, man. I'm not gonna lie, bro. He had me on the edge of my seat, bro. I'm gonna keep it a bean. Hey, man, that was good football. Was it good QB playing on the other side? We will talk about it. Commanders, for the most part, bro, we got to rank them based off defense. I think they've been shaky. I think them and the Ravens are kind of similar. I think the issue is here, though, they've had a lot of injuries on offense. And kind of like I'm saying with margin for errors, their margin for error defensively hasn't been good all year. Now, today, they didn't have a great margin for error defensively, but their defense had a pretty easy job today. And Dan Quinn talked about it. Pretty much, we just not going to beat ourselves defensively. They going to have to beat us. And on offense, we just going to do the small things. We're going to run the ball. And when they had to make plays, they made plays. Marcus Mariota was fantastic in this game. So, he had a really rough start. I think he had a pick to start the game. But after that, man, think about what he had to deal with out there. Laramie Tunsil was out. He's stepping in for JD. Hey, man, going against that defense, that secondary, Pat Surtain on the other end, they were down the entire game for the most part. Until I guess they were down 6-0. Then they got 7-6. Then I feel like the Broncos came right back into the lead. And ever since then, they was losing. Came down all the way to the end. They tied it twice. You tied it. Now, I'm going to be honest, that fourth quarter was actually hilarious how bad both teams was offensively. But Broncos just kept giving the Commanders chance after chance after chance after chance. And I'm going to keep it a bean. I want to say that this is not going to work, but I don't know, bro. I really don't know. What are they record? 10-2? It's been working all year, bro. I think they could genuinely keep winning off this. Now, defensively, the gimmick was kind of getting figured out by the Commanders on them last two drives, bro. They like, okay, you gonna blitz us. We gonna take advantage of you being aggressive. And on the last play of the game, they had the perfect play to beat the blitz. The perfect play. That's why you have superstars, though. So that when the schemes is colliding, they calling a play, trying to predict what you gonna do, and they get the right play in, superstars gonna make plays like what Nick Bonito did. They literally had it dead to rights, a walk-in touchdown. I'm not gonna lie though, Mariota probably put a little bit more touch on it, put a little bit more air, throw it over him. Hey, they may win this. Now, if you're a Commanders fan, bro, I'm gonna keep it being. I said this in the prediction. Y'all shouldn't be wanting to even win, bro. Keep it a bean. Sit JD. Let this joint ride. You know what I'm saying? Get you a good pick. You need talent. Defensively, you need talent. Offensively, you need talent. Dan Quinn coached a hell of a game in this game. He coached a hell of a game. You got to give him a lot of credit. I would say the Commanders is right there with the Falcons for me. I'm going to raise the Rams. I would say he's right there with the Falcons. Probably got a lower team. Simple as that. Probably just got to lower a team. Honestly, probably got to lower another team. But I got to keep it a bean. Probably got to lower another team. It's actually kind of funny that a lot of these teams in the bottom are actually improving. It's really like the Bengals, the Cowboys, the Jets. They've all been improving. The Ravens, honestly, I may be gassing it a little bit. Honestly, I might be gassing it a little bit. I'm going to put them there. I'm low-key gassing it a little bit. Low-key, you stand in the bottom. I'm kind of gassing it a little bit. Now, on the other end, the Broncos, I'm going to keep it a bean. Like I said, I think the Broncos defense did pretty much. I think they outperformed the Commanders defense. I think they just had an easier job. I think the Commanders offense was more threatening throughout the game than the Broncos offense for whatever reason. I don't know why. Bo Nix did not have a good game in my opinion, but it wasn't like he was awful. It wasn't like it was like Eagles, Bears quarterback play for majority of that game. I think like Caleb showed you why he got first pick. I don't think there was anything that Bo Nix showed why he was a first round pick. He didn't do anything crazy. Yeah, a couple missed throws. He didn't really have any crazy throws. It was just an okay game. I don't think I mean, if he plays good, this game is over a long time ago because Commanders offense was having, bro, that was a battle. That offense versus that defense, that was a battle. So, and they just kept getting too many opportunities at a certain point. I think the Broncos offense, they got to get that joint done. I think they could have ran it more. I think they really were just too conservative towards the end. I don't even know if that was like a Bo Nix issue. I think that might have been more so Sean Payton. I think they just got too conservative offensively because you seen it whenever they felt like they was even in any type of adversity, they would go and score points. So I really just don't really understand like why they played it like that personally. Because I don't even think on the last drive of the game, Bo Nix did much. I think you had Evan Ingram with a huge play. In majority of the plays, it was just a lot of yak, to be real. But I think Sean Payton, like I said, if Sean Payton would have called that fourth and third quarter the way he called that drive coming out of overtime, you know? And I honestly think they also scored too fast because the defense was on the field. Bro, that's what I mean. The defense was on the field all second half, it felt like. It genuinely felt like they was on the field all second half. But that's literally one of the best games all year, man. That game, hey, a lot of people not going to... See, I'm complaining about the quarterback play, but if the quarterback play going to be bad, at least give me something exciting. That was exciting, man. I can't lie. I was happy for Mariota, to be real. But, yeah, Broncos, I do think they still a top 5. I think they got the most balance. That's a tough one. Are they over there? I probably got them over the Eagles. I think these three are a tier of their own right now. I think these are the clear cut. Broncos is probably close to a tier of their own. I would probably say the Broncos to the Chiefs then is like that next tier. You know what I'm saying? Low-key, I'm going to change it. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to go boom, boom. What is that? 4, 2. What is that? I'm going to keep it being. What is that? 4, 2. 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I don't know why I ain't just counted. 4 to 7. And then we got the 49ers, the Lions, the Colts. I don't know. I'm going to keep it being. 49ers might deserve to be up there, bro. I don't know because of the injuries. The injuries what make it tough for the 49ers. Lions ain't really been that crazy defensively for me, personally. I think they've been okay. They've been inconsistent. I would say the Bills are in this tier defensively for me. And then I would say in this tier, I would put the Cardinals there. I would put... Okay, and this tier would be these teams. Low-key, the Saints and the Jets might be the worst teams because I think Cowboys in this tier. I think the Cowboys in this tier as well. Honestly, that's how I'm gonna do it. I don't care, bro. I don't care how y'all feel about it. So we got, how many we got here? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16. So we got 8 to 16. Crazy tiers, but like it makes sense. That's how I should have been doing it. And then we have a good 5. So we have 17 to like 21. Quick maths. Then we have 6. So this will be, for now, this is what it is. I have to change this though. I have 2 teams here. I think I know where I'll put the Patriots personally. I would say 22 to, this is gonna be a couple teams. Low key. Okay, this is gonna be 8 to 17 because I already know it's gonna be another team going there. So this is gonna be 18, probably to 23, if I'm honest. But do I think the Raiders and Raiders just should go up there. Raiders should just go up there. So 24. Raiders should low-key just go up there. Raiders actually been kind of getting trolled by their offense as well. Okay, so now we have 25 to 29. Right? Yeah, 25 to 29, and then we got 30 to 32. Quick math, you feel me? Quick math. So that's gonna be the low-key discombobulated tiers. You feel me? It's gonna be some teams is just gonna be in a tier. Like I feel like the first 3, I think you could argue any of those teams have the best defense. The next tier, I think that's that next tier of defenses. Like I think you can win a Super Bowl with one of them tier defense. The next tier is gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough to win a Super Bowl with that. I think there's just something missing. Like the Bears, I think they got good play calling. They got talent. The execution. They got to execute. They just don't execute consistently, in my opinion. I think they can get turnovers, but like I said, they can sometimes give up some bad drives. You know? Colts, I may be chatting on the Colts. I'm going to keep it being. Looking at it, I may be chatting on the Colts, but that's why they in the same tier. 49ers is really just injuries. The Lions got a lot of talent. I don't know what the hell the Lions doing there if I'm thinking about it. I just don't think they on the same tier as the Packers and the Eagles. Are they on the same tier? They might be, bro. Alright, I'll probably put them up. So that's 8. And then we can just change this to 9. Quick fixes. I like this. Oh, I didn't put 8. Oh, I like this. Alright, so we got one more game left to talk about. Broncos Commanders was definitely good hoops, good eats. Can't lie. Very scared of this game, man, because the quarterback play this week has been bad. I've been talking about the quarterback play, man. My O-line is injured. We're going against one of the most talented pass rushers in the league. When we played the Browns, though, it didn't matter, but our O-line was healthy at the time. It's not like we played good in the game, though. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, man. I hope we play good. It's going to be tough, but we'll see. Shout out Jackson Dart, too. All right, game over. Could have did this low-key after a couple in the first, but I ain't gonna lie. Shout out to Dart. I've been talking about it all video, bruh. Scared about the Patriots. This could have been a trap game with all the people we got out on D-line and O-line. I know I'm gonna talk about Dart positives, but the quarterback play in the league, I watch the Patriots every week, so I don't even know if it's really just me, but I think you can if it was a primetime game, if you watch today, you can kind of understand why the standard I watch, I guess, every week. I even hold Drake Maye to a pretty high standard as well, because I think coming into this week, he was kind of shocking the last 5 weeks, and that's for my standard. He was shocking. He was turning the ball over. He was missing a lot more. I do think the games without Booty was kind of a big factor into it, but he even was doing that last week with the Bengals, but it was a snap count for Booty. He kind of got back to that this week. Now, Giants defense. I do think the pass rush is actually good. It's just the Patriots are not a good team to go against if you have a really crazy pass rush, I would say. Because one, if you do get in, Drake Maye is very good under pressure. Very, very good under pressure. He's very, very good, whether you're blitzing, under pressure. And that's one thing why I was so high on him coming out of North Carolina, because all these other guys that he was in the draft with, North Carolina, he didn't have really much on the outside. He didn't really have no good O-line. It's just what it was. He didn't even have that great of a run game with Omari and Hampton. It was okay. That was probably the strongest thing he had, but you think about all the stuff, you think about the coaching with Caleb Williams, you think about JD, you think about all the other quarterbacks, they had way better situation than Drake Maye, and Drake Maye still looked that good. So I'm thinking, like, if you're a team picking that high, you probably don't want a quarterback that has a perfect situation. You probably want the opposite that's getting the most out of that. And that was Drake Maye. And then when it comes to all the traits he had all the traits almost. So last year we seen that as well, where he had a very, very bad situation. He looked amazing in the bad situation. He was a bright spot in a bad situation is what I would probably say. This year, he's been so good. The team has been exceeding a lot of people's expectations, whether you want to talk about the schedule or not. I did a tier list before the season. I predicted him to get either 11-12 or 12-13, and people gave me a lot of hate. Brother, they are 11-2. Now, they still could only get 13. They got 2 big tests again, but every single time so far Drake Maye has got tested, they've won the game. The Raiders game wasn't really a test. That was the first game of the year. That was just a bad loss. I wouldn't say that's a test, and that's kind of why the Raiders game and the Steelers game, looking back, bro, people talk about these games that we play, bro. Every week that we play a team that's worse than us is, you could technically say, is a trap game, because, bro, just think about when the Bills lost to the Dolphins. If we was losing any of these games, we would not be 11-2 right now. So the Patriots just been taking advantage of their schedule. When they play big games, the Buccaneers, the Bills, they haven't really had many big ones. At the time, the Falcons was a big game, but they've completely just fell off a cliff since then. Even started before then a little bit with the Miami game. It's just they've done it. Now, I do think that Drake Maye has the consistency. He was missing throws. When I see Drake Maye miss throws, I don't know. It's just something. It just don't sit right with me, bro. And then the magnitude of how many throws he was missing the past couple games. To see him play like he did today, he got back to normal. Now, that could be because it's the Giants. But I thought, honestly, coming into this game with the O-line when we got out versus that D-line, I thought this was going to be a game that could be a big trap game. But I do think that Bengals game was a game that really did open our eyes. I think Drake Maye has started getting a little bit inconsistent. Well, not inconsistent. He started to have a little bit more misses than usual. McDaniels was getting very shaky. McDaniels was actually getting very shaky. But the thing that kept us up wasn't Drake Maye, it wasn't McDaniels, it was Vrabel. Vrabel was coaching his ass off them past couple weeks. And today, we seen it, what it looks like if Vrabel's coaching the way he was coaching before this game, and if Drake Maye and McDaniels get back to what they were doing. And today, it was a massacre. It wasn't even close. Now, people gonna say it was some dirty plays. I'm gonna keep it a bean. If you think anything that the Patriots did today was dirty, I advise you to stop watching football. Now, the kick return, helmet to helmet, I can give you that one. The hit out of bounds, let's clap it. Hey, let's wrap it up, brother. Let's wrap it up. Hey, bro, just stop watching. It's football. I promise you. Hey, they do that old head stuff in basketball. In football, it is actually real. The people used to actually die on the field. And I'm gonna keep it a bean. Seeing people get hit helmet to helmet as frequently as it happens now, like, you may see 1 or 2 a game. And every single time, I promise you, somebody's getting walked off the field at least once a game. I don't know what's going on with the helmets. I don't know if it's the players. But these hits used to happen 10, maybe even 15 times more. And you would barely ever even see it happen a month where somebody was getting walked off the field like that. So I don't know, but that hit that was on Dart was crazy. That was a crazy hit. And it wasn't even illegal. He was in bounds. It wasn't helmet to helmet. That was just a good, clean, crazy hit. And the funniest part about it is Ellis is terrible. But Ellis had probably his best game of the season after that play. So shout out to Ellis. But the thing is, the play before that, I don't even know it was the play before that. Go back and watch that first drive. There was a play where Davis is tackling a wide receiver, and they O-lineman just comes up and just cleans Davis up well after the whistle. You could call a late hit. You could call a blindside block. You call whatever. They ain't call nothing. So at that point, it's up. So I don't know what's going on with that, but I can just tell, hey, it's football at the end of the day. You be physical, the other team gonna be physical. And Patriots were very physical in this game. So I gotta rank the Giants defense. The issue is with the Giants defense is I liked their pressure, and I would kind of say their front. They probably, you could argue, they got the most talented. I don't know, that Browns front is crazy. Browns and Texas front is crazy. Rams is crazy too, but it's not on that level where it's very good, but it's not on those levels where you got the interior of Malik Collins, Graham, and you got Myles Garrett and the other edge. Then the Titans, the Texans, those guys not any big names on the interior, but they're very good, and both edges are phenomenal. And then you got the Giants, where they kind of got Thibodeau, who I think is injured, Carter, and you got Burns, who was the sack leader before Myles Garrett just did what he did. And then you got Dexter Lawrence, who was very good last year. He has not been as good this year as he was last year, which, yeah. But on the back end behind that, DB's rough. It's not great. So I wasn't worried about that. I was only worried about the fact that we gonna have a bad O-line versus that D-line, see what it look like. And for the most part, I really just forgot about the one emphasis that the Patriots really do. They make sure to block an extra guy almost every single play. They make sure to chip the ends almost every single play. And yeah, now they did a lot more 5 wides, but they didn't do neither one of those, and it was pretty clean. But Drake was getting rid of that ball, whether it was pressure or whatever. They really had only 2 sacks, and both of them were really on Drake. Where one, he tried to run to get the first down, Abdul Carter make the tackle, and then you have where he's running out of bounds, and instead of running out of bounds, he just slides. So they didn't really have too much sacks, I would say. I think there was another one, but it was really insubstantial. It didn't really matter. So I would say the Giants defense, and another thing I would say, if we want to talk about all year, Giants defense has been pretty good the whole year. It's just at the end of games, they will literally choke the game. You seen it against the Broncos. You seen it against what team was that? The Bears. You seen it a couple times. You even seen it against the Cowboys. So they will choke a game for sure. And yeah, I think that they've been very good. I would probably say they're more consistent than all the teams they're above. But yeah, let me see. How many is that? So we gotta change this. So this is 23. This is 24. I think they're in that tier of defenses. And then when it comes to the Patriots, I may be chatting on these two teams. I'm gonna keep it being. I'm putting both of them up. I feel like I'm dissing. I feel like I'm low key dissing. I'm gonna go 25, and they're gonna say 26. Yeah, I think I'm dissing. I think I'm dissing with that one. And then we got the Patriots. Now the Patriots defense has been very, very interesting. Because, like I said, I thought beginning of the year, a lot of it was more so Drake, Maye, and Gonzo. And I thought until that, I think Gonzo's first game was against the Panthers. I thought every game before that, our defense was very shaky. And we seen a glimpse of what our defense looked like without Gonzo in that Falcons game. So when people say that Gonzo's not been good this year, I think the issue with that is Gonzo's not been as good as last year. And that's a fact. That's just a straight fact. Gonzo is still arguably the best corner in football this year. He's just not been as good as last year, where he's by far, and people just didn't give him the credit for it because Pat Surtain had a good year. But I don't think people realize how good Gonzo was just because the team was that bad. Like, I would say, nah, I'm not even gonna say that. Gonzo was ridiculous last year. He was ridiculous. This year, he's been good. He's still been very good. But last year, Gonzo genuinely was having like an all-time season. He's not doing that this year. He's just not. But the impact that he has is drastic on this team. So when he wasn't playing, I don't think this is a good defense. But I do think week in, week out, since the week 1, I think the defense has gotten better every week as well, regardless of the Gonzo situation. Because early on, we had corners getting cooked. Carlton Davis was a penalty nightmare. The safeties it's been growing every week. But the thing is the front. Now, I still think we have an edge issue. An issue is just a pretty big deal. But the interior depth, we may have the best interior depth in the league, bro. We be doing rotations. Like I was talking about with the Texans last week against the Bills. But the rotation that we have and the D tackle, oh my goodness. Bro, Milton Williams, he's on the IR, bro. Bro, I would argue Milton Williams ain't even a top 2 defensive tackle on our team. Tonga and Barmore. I think Barmore and Milton Williams, the Bang Bros. I get it to him. They were my guys. But Tonga's been fantastic. You could argue he's been the best. Durden, when he get a chance, he goes out there and hoops. Farmer, he goes out there and plays, man. We got some guys on D tackle. Edge is really the issue, but we do got some young guys that gonna get some PT that actually is shown up. Elijah Ponder, I think he's giving us an edge. But you can kind of see when we play some of these guys, it's hard to sack. Like Spencer Rattler, he was a tough one to sack. You can say what you want as a Saints fan, but in terms of that game, when he played us, we could not get him down. We was getting pressure, we just could not get him down. It's just what it was. Baker, another one. Now at the end, we finally was able to get the job done, and like I said, I think we've been getting better every week. And then today we played Dart. Now I'm gonna talk about it. Dart, in my opinion, I've said it. I think he's a little bit overrated in terms of how people talk about him. In the draft, I had Cam Ward as the clear-cut number 1, and I had Dart as the clear-cut number 2. And people was calling me crazy, calling me racist, all this type of different things because of the stuff with Shador. And I like Shador, but I just never thought Shador was better than Dart. I never could understand. I even had Suge 3rd above Shador. I had Shador 4th, though. Now, once we got to the area where he wasn't getting picked late first, where I thought Shador probably should have been going even 2nd, then he ended up going 5th, that's a different convo. Now, how Shador's played is a completely different convo than what I had him in the draft, because I was wrong about Dart, because Dart is the best quarterback in that draft. Now, let's talk about his positives. Pocket navigation, Dart might be the best in the league right now. Genuinely. Now, arm talent, it's nothing crazy. No, absolutely nothing crazy about his arm at all. I do like Dart. He got some bad decision making. Like the hit, like I said, that was a legal hit, really, because, bro, get down or go out of bounds. Now, at the end, it was a play in the 4th quarter where he tried to run, and I genuinely don't think he knows how to slide. So maybe that's what it is. But do whatever it takes to not take a hit coming off a concussion that you missed multiple weeks on, brother. I say this with JD. That's my guy. JD is my guy. But when you're missing games, you open up these conversations that teams gonna have. No matter how bad Caleb been playing, they're winning games. Caleb is gonna get a lot of credit. They're not winning games because of Caleb. The coach himself said we're winning games despite the passing game, brother. I don't need to say too much there. But the Bears fans gonna bring them convos up with him and Drake Maye. Now, I don't know how the hell that's possible with Drake Maye. I'm gonna keep it a beat. No bias, but there's no way. I don't know what y'all are seeing. Now, the thing is with Dart, I think there's a vein. And I just mentioned Caleb. I think Pat Mahomes, he got him a little tree already. I think Caleb, you got him on one side and you got Dart. Caleb is the great pocket navigator, but still will take some crazy sacks. And then you got Dart, that is a pocket navigator. It is incredibly impossible to sack him, but he don't have the arm talent. Caleb has the arm talent. It's just the accuracy all over the place. Dart, on the other end, he don't really got the arm talent, but he is very accurate. So, and neither one of them, not a single one of these guys really like playing on time. I think Mahomes progressed a lot. Like, if we talking about peak Mahomes, 2018 to 2020, Mahomes hated playing on time. He did. But, hey, they honed him in this after they got rid of Reek. And I get it with Reek, bro. Reek gonna get open eventually for sure. Like, nobody fast enough to guard that version of Reek. It's just what it was. So, I get it with them. But he got a tree coming, so these guys not really playing on time is kind of an issue. Now, Dart, I think he can. He just don't like to, I think. And another thing about them three, they don't really like throwing the NFL open guys. And I get it, that could lead to picks. But they rather give their guys extra time. Now, I'm not going to lie. Dart, if you dart Mahomes, it don't really matter too many times because y'all don't really, it's hard to sack you, bro. It's really hard to sack you. Caleb is very hard to sack. Last year was a kind of an evidence of like, where that don't really work in the NFL, but this year he's been a lot better with his decision making on those. And I think Dart, if he can get better on his decision making, they got something there. Now, I do think Dart is very good. I think he actually wasn't even that bad tonight. But to be real, they don't really. If Neighbors come back, Scatterable come back, I think they got some with him, Dart, and them. I don't know what they do in the draft if I'm the Giants, personally. But in terms of tonight, I think the Patriots did very good. They've been progressing. I got to put them somewhere. Patriots, like I said, bro, the more I watch these games, the more I watch these quarterbacks. Now, I want to rank the quarterbacks because why? Why not? This week, I'm not going to rank them in order, but the top 5 quarterback before Drake Maye played, it was like Dak, J Love. You could throw Bryce Young in there. Who else? It's somebody I'm forgetting for sure. Dak, J Love. You could throw Bryce Young in there. Who else? I'm forgetting somebody for sure. Joe Burrow was pretty solid. I don't know about top 5. Oh, Mariota may gotta be. But it was low key. He ended the game very good. I don't know if you can say top 5 all the way. Who else? I'm looking. Josh Allen went crazy. Lamar had a. Whew. I'm not even gonna speak on that too much because I'm not even gonna speak on that one too much. I'm gonna be honest. Herbert had a solid game, but he got injured in it. Oh, Brock Purdy had a very good game in a very bad weather game versus the very, very good Browns defense. So I give Brock Purdy some credit there, but come on, bro. You watch all these games and then watch Drake Maye. I don't know what to really tell you, brother. I really don't. I don't really know. Like, in the MVP convos, I'm gonna keep it being. I really do not give a damn about MVPs at this point in sports. Like, I'm over it. I'm not even old yet, bro. I've been seeing these convos for these past couple years, brother. I'm good. At this point, we just valuing things, awards that are literally based off someone's opinion. I do not give a damn about. So, at the end of the day, bro, if you think somebody playing the best, he playing the best. But if you over here arguing MVP versus MVP, bro, he didn't get his MVP, brother. Hey, you got it. My hands are up. You got it. So, I think the Patriots as a team, they can sneaky. They can be sneaky. I'm going to probably have to say they are a team that's tough to score points on consistently. That's one thing I say even in the games they lost, when it was the Steelers and the Raiders, they ain't give up but 20 points in them games. Now, in the Raiders game, Geno had a ridiculous game. The 20 points is kind of, I think that was a bend but don't break game. They was giving up a lot of yards, but they weren't giving up easy points. And that's kind of what's happened a lot of games. But that's why I'm saying the last 5 games, it has been a lot better. So, Patriots, man, I do think y'all deserve at least so. Gonna get this. I'm going to say, I don't want to go too far. I'm going to say here, we got 2 big tests coming with the Ravens and what's the people? The Bills? Yeah, those 2 big tests. Lamar ain't really look like Lamar. Maybe Lamar get like a little bounce back game this week. I seen that Lamar had 0 touchdowns in 3 weeks. Man, it's really rough on this Lamar train right now, man. I'm still believing him, bro. Still my favorite player. If we not talking about no Patriots players, Joe Burrow in there too, because he played for LSU. You know what I'm saying? I still love all my LSU boys, but Lamar, man, come on, man. I need you to lock in now. When you play the Patriots, I'm gonna keep it being. You can stay calm. But yeah, that's gonna be the video, man. That's my rankings of the teams. I actually like doing it like this more because now we have it actually sectioned off on the teams that I do believe. Like the 1 through 3, I think all those are the same tier. You can debate however you want. 4 through 8, you can debate however you want. I think those are the teams in the order I would put them, but you can debate however you want. 9 through 17, you could debate any order. 49ers is a tough one, I would say, because of the fact that they've had so many injuries, but they're so well coached. Patriots actually, the talent, they playing. I might be underrating the Patriots, honestly. I be trying to be unbiased on these, but I be kind of underrating a lot of stuff when it comes to the Patriots. So I may not be ranking them as high as I should, but maybe I am being biased. So you can put them in any order in that tier for me. Vikings, you see that tier. I think Vikings coach-wise, you probably should be a tier higher, but y'all have not played to that level all season. I think it's been a lot of inconsistency, and I think a lot of this in that tier is kind of inconsistency, but very well coached for the most part, except for the Giants. Giants may not should be right there because the Buccaneers are well coached. Raiders have been well coached. The Cardinals are well coached. Low key, I'm moving them. I don't agree with that. I don't think they've been well coached. I think they got a lot of talent. They just have not been well coached, in my opinion. All right. And then you got this tier where it's just been inconsistency. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. That's perfect. Might should low-key throw the Saints up there. Because Saints low-key, sneaky as it been, they've been very competitive all year. I'm low-key kind of chatting on the Saints. The Saints low-key not been that bad defensively. It's been the offense. Low-key, I may be chatting a little bit on the Saints. Put them boys up there. I'm putting them boys up there. I'm kind of tripping on the Saints a little bit. I'm kind of tripping. 30. And then we got 31 to 32. I think these are the 2 worst defenses in the league right now, especially with all the trades that the Jets did. The Bengals are the Bengals. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, that's my tier list of the defenses. If y'all do want more, make sure to like the video. I'll probably get y'all out some different things now because we did the offense and the defense twice, and we already did the rankings. So, I'll probably get y'all like a quarterback. Maybe I'll get y'all a wide receiver. Maybe I'll get y'all a running back. Maybe I'll get y'all a reaction. But if y'all do want more, make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to do anything to help the video, hype in the video. If you get that ability to do so, please, I would appreciate it. Like, comment down below, help the algorithm. Who you think has the best defense? Who you think has the worst defense? All that good stuff out the way, man. Without further ado, man, it's your boy Fitz. I'm out of here.
Tell them to bring me my money. Yeah!